This is Business Talk, your business, your success. Sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given is not intended to replace that of your business advisor. Now, let's get down to talking about your business, your success. This is Business Talk.
Well, good afternoon, Peg.
Good afternoon, Pete. Good to be here with you.
Yes, you too, on this beautiful Ohio afternoon.
Of course. And, Pete and I are business coaches. Gosh, we've been doing this now for 14 years. And,
Right.
and today's topic is the last show we did last Saturday was just, we hadn't talked about sales in so long, so we thought we would do a part two,
A part two of the Sales Bible. Jeffrey Gitomer wrote this
so
book,
good.
and it's excellent stuff. There's just so much material in it. So we'll do a couple of these, and then we'll wait a few months, and we'll do it again, because there's a lot.
There's a lot of material. That is a lot of material.
Yes.
So.
And it's a big category.
And as you're listening to the show, what we want to give you is ideas and strategies you can use, but we're also going to give examples of how we've worked with different clients. Pete and I work with, and Michelle, our other coach. There's three of us here. We're here locally in Columbus, although if you're listening to this on our website, we do serve many different states, from Texas to Virginia,
New Jersey,
Michigan.
Right.
I'm trying to think of all the states in addition to Ohio that we serve with clients. So, all right. Okay. So before we get into that, Mr. Research Director.
Some good news.
Yeah.
So why do we do good news? We do good news because if you turn on the regular radio shows or the television or look at the newspaper, there's a lot of what in it?
Well, I think that they're trying to get ratings and readership. So they try to create drama and negativity. And try to go to the
Bad
worst
news.
case scenario of all the bad
scare
stuff.
all of us, right?
And then take that worst case scenario, for example, what happened in Squirrel Hill last week, and play it again and again and again and again.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
Which was horrific. I know.
Yeah, so we do try to look for good things that are happening.
Right.
All the
So
time,
we're going to tell you
right?
some good
And
news.
now, a couple of times, several times in the last few years, we've mentioned that a lot of times when people win the lottery, what happens to them, Peg?
Well, what happens is they end up going broke,
Yeah.
bankrupt.
Yeah.
They end up getting a divorce.
Right.
In some cases, because they have made TV shows about this, they end up becoming murderers and
Murderers even.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. If you've watched the show.
All because of the money.
All because of the money.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. And it's because they didn't know how to handle this money when they got it, right?
Right.
Well, I've got this article here, and, the Wall Street Journal once a week has a section about real estate.
Okay.
Called Mansion, and they talk about homes and properties and things like that and development and all that. And they've got an article in here about a gentleman who won, let me see here, Mr. Knudsen, and he lived in California. He won $180 million in the California Mega Millions lottery.
Oh, wow.
A few years ago.
Good for him.
And he actually has increased his net worth. He's worth more now than he did when he won it.
Oh, well, good
He's
for
bought
him.
a bunch of homes, and he got some advice, and actually
good
managed
news.
his money very well. And it's showing some of his cars and his pictures of his homes. Really nice
now
places.
these homes are pretty.
And for the most part, his relationships are kind of intact. He said there were a few people that that wanted stuff from him that it didn't make sense, that kind of thing. But for the most part, he's pretty happy.
That's a great news. I'm glad to hear
I
it
thought
goes
that was
well,
good.
because you
So
do
it
hear
can happen.
You always hear about how disastrous it becomes.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens,
and with
it
the
happens all
jackpot
time.
that was, last week, when was it? I don't know how many. It was $1 billion.
Oh, it was a lot.
And
it was a lot.
one person won, right?
Was one ticket?
South Carolina, was it?
Is it?
I think so. And
I don't know. Alan knows. So he's shaking his head.
South
he says
Carolina.
Yes.
South Carolina. And,
one person.
We went ahead and bought a ticket. And one of the reasons, have you ever done this? So you buy a ticket, and are the chances that you're going to win good? Absolutely not. But you know why we do it is it allows us the opportunity to say what if, and it allows us to create a vision and increase our vision of what we want to do. And it's interesting as you go around and do this with your family, figure out what you want to do and understand what the values are of each person, like each kid, each person. Like one person said, well, I can't wait to give it to charity. One person said, I want to help my family. One person said, I want stuff.
Stuff, yeah,
one
right.
person said, I want fame. One person said, I want to relax. So it was interesting because that question alone will allow you to know the mindset of the people around you.
That's interesting.
Do it at work.
Yeah, it's really good.
It would be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, well, good. Anyway, so it can happen.
That's good
you
news.
can have success from this kind of thing.
Very good, Pete. Okay,
Yeah.
good news.
So the next thing, and I won't go into this too long because this article actually leads into they're thinking that things are slowing down a little bit. But the gist of the article is he gets into why the economy in the U.S. might slow down a bit. It's productivity. And that's one of the things that we help companies with, is to increase their productivity. And that's what this article is about, is that we are among the most productive nations in the world. We have 5% of the population, 25% of the global GDP, the gross domestic product.
We have 5% of the population.
Only 5% of the population.
I have to tell you, Pete.
You think it would be a lot less than that?
I thought it would be a lot more.
Oh, more?
Yeah.
Really?
I was like, wow, we're only
Well,
5%.
what, Ellen? We're 320 million, something like that.
But I was just thinking,
right?
of our significant. I always think of us and our significance in policies and in global
Well,
and impact.
25% of the products and services produced on the planet are produced here.
See, that's what I'm getting confused with. I'm thinking 25%, but
right.
It's only by 5% of the population.
5% of the whole world
Isn't that
population.
little?
It's kind
That's
of
a little
interesting,
tidbit.
right?
I'm sure a lot of you listening are saying, I had no idea.
Yeah, America has the world's highest standard of living, apart from a handful of countries with very small populations, such as Qatar and Norway. There's only a couple little
Now
countries.
I thought Saudi Arabia in there somewhere,
in general. Like if
Okay.
you look at the whole population.
Oh,
like
okay.
I think in Saudi Arabia there are some people who live like literally kings.
Okay.
And some people that are in a
Don't.
tent.
Okay.
And that we are the ones in the United States, a lot of the things that happen, we're inventing the future, intelligent robots, driverless cars, life-extending drugs. A lot of the drug progress happens here. 15 of the top 20 universities in the entire world are based here.
Wow.
They're in the U.S.
That makes sense, though. See, that doesn't surprise me. You know what? It's great to be an American, man.
Well, it is. And what he's talking about is we need to focus on productivity, and then it goes into a long discussion about that. And there are a lot of things that we can do. Now, we as business coaches, that's one of the things we actually do. We figure out how to help people get more done with less effort.
Right. Let's give an example. I don't have one in mind, but why don't you and I come up with something
Well,
here?
I mean, one would be a simple system.
Okay.
And I worked with a company last week, and we're halfway through it because we realized this process within the company is more complex than we had thought. But it's a commercial heating and cooling company, and we're working with them to document their processes. The main reason is they've had a big turnover of people internally inside the company, and they don't have things documented. They had some critical people leave, and they didn't have things written down.
Right.
So we're documenting things. In the meantime, we're finding some activities that are pretty low value that we should stop doing, and a couple things where there's double work being done, where we can eliminate some things.
I like that idea. And another way, and I was thinking not necessarily productive, but I guess it is a lot of times when we go into companies, we see untapped potential. So Pete and I were with
of
individuals as well as a system.
Okay.
So to your point, Pete and I were last week. One of the things we get to do is we work with teams. And Michelle and you are working with a team, and you and I are working with a team. So you and I went in and we worked with this team. It was it was a company of 25 people, and we realized that they have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that are going untapped with their current customers, because if we change the way we ask for something, or we script away, or we ask, or we educate the team that, hey, did you know when you do this and this and this?
These are the results.
Yeah, we ended up finding out that they can make thousands and thousands of dollars.
Okay.
It was like $40,000, and it was by add-on sales or by calling their current customers and saying, do you know everything?
Simple activities.
Right. That do you know everything that we offer? I mean, just it's things that without a coach, you probably wouldn't slow down enough to say, hey, here's an opening, here's an opening, here's an opening.
Well, here's another example, and we do this a couple times a month, I would say, on average, more than 20 times a year. We do group interviews.
Right.
So one great example is we have a manufacturer that we've worked with for quite some time, and they had been interviewing hourly employees individually. Each employee gets walked through the plant by somebody from HR for 15, 20 minutes as part of the interview. So you ask the person questions, you walk them through the plant. Probably takes 45 minutes.
And you
for
do
each
this one
person.
at a time, right, Pete?
One at a time. And when we started working with them twice a week, we now have group interviews where we spend 1 hour with the whole group. One person takes 7 people on a tour, and they make offers to the individuals that they really like.
Right.
So it dramatically reduce the amount of time that it takes to get that done. And they actually have better results because they see all the people at the same time, and they're involving the first-line supervisors in the interviews.
Well, and I think, even this isn't our topic, but I do think as you're listening is what's your point of leverage? Like, as we were talking about, when we worked with the team, we grabbed the customer service people in, brought them in, had them look at a list of things that we could do, and they said, hey, we could call our current customers and ask them, do they know everything that we sell? And when we do that, we're going to have a 10% increase in sales currently over our...
Just by educating your customers.
Right. We don't have to do anything else. It's a point of leverage. And like you said, one person interview versus 30.
Right.
It's
productivity, right?
Right.
It's improving productivity. And if you can get more things done with the same effort or less, that's a good thing. And if everybody does it in your company, it's a way of thinking.
There you go.
You can help the entire company to get more things done. And it's better for your customers too, right?
Right.
Could your business use some help? Call 614-306-7922 to schedule your coaching session. 614-306-7922. Now, here's more business talk.
All right. So we're here today talking about the Sales Bible, and Peg and I have seen Jeffrey Gitomer speak a couple times.
We have, and he is an outstanding speaker. He's an outstanding author. I think his books are laid out very easy to read, and he does it purposeful. When he speaks, he talks about how he spends as much time on the format of his book as he does on the content, because it makes it easy to retain. And there's such a wealth of knowledge in what he has. And you know what I like about him is I'm a super logical person. It's a super logical approach. Like
he's very direct about everything, just blunt.
I just love it. And you know what? You're going to get a lot of information out of him. And so what we'll do during these next 3 segments is we're going to go through and give you some nuggets that you can apply. Now, again, all of our shows, if you're listening live right now, all of our shows are archived on our website, which if you go to, it's 2 websites for Action Coach. Well, go to our old one, takeactionbusinesscoaching.com, and that'll get us to, because I think we have Action Business Coach Columbus too. But let's just do takeactionbusinesscoach.com.
Okay, and there should be a 98.9 icon.
Right.
You click on that, and you'll see a whole list of shows by topic.
And the reason we bring this up is if you're having a meeting or a one-on-one with some of your teammates, some of your direct reports, some of your team members, we want you to give them homework. And this might be one of the pieces of homework that we want you to listen to.
Right. So this is the Sales Bible Part 2.
Yes, okay.
We talked about Sales Bible Part 1 last time.
Yes, let's do it.
Oddly enough. So this next section here, he's got 12 and a half values of a sales professional. And he does numbered lists just to make it easy.
Right.
And that's one of the things that his.
And he always has the
direct.
0.5. And I don't know why 0.5 and not 13. I think it's to be different.
Yeah.
Or is it only half of a point?
Just to get your attention.
Yeah, maybe that's
it's not as valuable as the first 12.
That's what I would ask. Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Okay.
So number 1, the value of creating a difference between you and the competition. And this is really about the point of separation or differentiation, right? They talk about in marketing.
Right.
You want to set yourself apart.
We were with the dental lab just last week talking about this very thing.
Right.
What is it that's going to separate you from your competitors? So why would a dentist go to you versus someone else?
Do you remember what they said?
Tell me what they said.
It was high quality, right?
Right.
They do extreme high quality.
Well, and they do it because they do, instead of digital, they use digital, but they hand make things as well.
Right.
Like the other dentists are going to all computerized, and that hand made is becoming a need, that because you know what it is, it's a lot of training and it's a lot of talent, which gives you high quality, because the other ones don't have that. They don't have the precision.
And the flip side of this is maybe not everybody in the market will appreciate your value, if that's one of your values, and you've got to find those folks that do.
Target the ones
and target to them.
Very good.
And focus on them.
I like that.
And his bullet points under this bullet, again, it's the value of creating a difference between you and the competition, which is a point of differentiation, is the key is perceived value. So what is the customer? And this is a good point, because even if I know it's there, I have to educate my customer to recognize it.
Right.
Right? We've got to help them
That's why
see it.
Sales is education.
It is. Yeah, that's good. And the biggest difference is the difference they perceive in you. And you, as the company's representative, they've got to see it in you.
Right.
Are you reliable, dependable? Are you going to be there?
Right.
Are you going to support?
Are you going to listen? That's a big thing. We have a lot of salespeople who don't listen. So I like that. Okay. I like that.
Joke. Okay. The next one is 12 and a half. Now, the value of knowing the difference between satisfied and loyal. We don't want necessarily satisfied.
Right.
It's necessary, but it's not enough.
So why do we want loyal?
Sufficient. Well, we want satisfied customers buy anywhere. Loyal customers stay. They fight for you, and they refer.
There you go.
They're almost fanatical, and they will do things for you that your best salespeople may not do for you.
There are raving fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Because raving fans are loyal.
Right.
So how do you create that loyalty, do you think?
Before we even get to that, why do they order again? Well, will they recommend you to others? And if you're not there, you need to attempt to get there. And that's the measure, is if they're referring you to other people, they are thrilled with what you're doing. And what you really want is you want people to be thrilled.
And here's a question, is if you're a manager, a sales manager, or a manager, how many, we want you to measure how many referrals you're getting. And then I would break that down by salesperson is what salespeople are getting the referrals. And that should be rewarded and celebrated.
Right.
So, because that is a signature of you are doing a great job as a salesperson.
Absolutely. And
you are being able to educate, communicate, and deliver because you're the spokesperson for your company.
Right. Yep. So you got to figure out how to take people from satisfied to loyal, or raving fans, as we call an Action Coach. Raving fans. And what is it that separates you to get you to that point? And
here's another thought. Is when you do get a referral, what we want you to do, I love this idea. So when you get the referral, first of all, we want you to celebrate with the salesperson who got it. But then I want you to go to the person who did the operations and celebrate with them.
Yeah.
Celebrate with them. And so this is Business Talk with Peg and Pete. And today we're talking about the Sales Bible. And we're talking about different strategies, the 12.5 values of a sales professional. And I really like that idea of really creating loyalty.
And think about the difference. What is a satisfied customer for me or my organization? And what is it about a raving fan or a great customer that's referring people to us? What's the difference, and how do we get more of those?
I like that. Okay.
Okay, number 3, the value of your ability to speak and to be compelling. Not just speak, but to be compelling when you speak. So if your sales message is boring, they pass. If it's compelling, they want to buy. Engage them with great questions and great ideas.
I was just about to say, how do you become compelling? You make it about them. Right. That's what's compelling, not about you.
Understanding, right? Mm-hmm. If you truly understand what their challenges are, if you're the one to help them with their challenges, then you're in good shape.
Okay, very good.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
The value of knowing everything or being too busy to learn. Stay a student every day. All the information you need to succeed already exists. This is something that he's big on, his education, is you may not be exposing yourself to it. So we all have areas of our professional and personal lives where we can learn more and apply what we learn to our lives and our personal lives and business lives. And Gitomer's just saying, every problem you run into, whether it's sales or not, somebody's experienced it somewhere and written down how they've solved it. And there might be 10 different ways to go about solving the same problem. And you can learn about it.
Okay, so here I'm going to confess something. I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay, good.
So long ago, when I was just a young
salesperson,
sales professional,
sales puppy.
I was under the impression that since I was good at sales, that I didn't need to work on it because I was already good.
Oh, yeah. You had good results.
I had good results. I was a top salesperson, so I was under the impression that I should be concentrating on other areas to educate myself. What I didn't understand, and since then, now this was 30 years ago, is now when I coach people who are great salespeople, I say, that's what you concentrate on. How many books are you reading? And it was interesting because somebody had asked me, you truly aren't, I think it was Gitomer. He said, you're truly not a sales professional. You cannot call yourself that if you are not educating yourself consistently on sales.
Right.
And so how many books are you reading? How many podcasts are you listening to?
Well, think about these professional athletes. Especially the best ones. They're fine-tuning all the time.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're throwing the ball to each other, the quarterback and the receivers. they're throwing the ball hundreds of times
Right.
over and over and over again until it's natural, right?
And it was interesting, Pete. We did it. Worked with another team. We had several team. We had 4 team
Last
days
week it was
last
a
week.
lot.
It's four different teams we worked with, and one team we were talking to a bunch of younger people. And when I say that, they're fairly new out of school, and we said, one of the things we want you to understand is how many people want to earn more money, and you raise your hand. Of course, I want to earn more money.
Yeah.
But there's one element that you must do before you earn. You have to learn.
You have to learn. Yeah.
So earning, the amount you're going to earn is going to be direct proportional to the amount of learning you do. Yep. So you have to work for it.
So that's point number 4, according to Gittimer, is stay a student. Always stay a student.
There you go.
And Peg's point is when you hit that level of success that you've been working for years,
Don't
still
stop.
stay a student.
Yeah, don't stop.
Always stay a student.
Don't say,
Okay.
I'm done learning.
Yeah, I'm good now.
I'm
good. I
good.
got it made. I am a professional.
That's a dangerous spot to be in.
Okay, number 5, the value of establishing a friendly relationship. Seems like common sense. All things being equal, people will do business with their friends. All things being not quite so equal, people still want to do business with their friends. In other words, if your product isn't quite the best on the market and you have a fantastic relationship with this person, you may still get the sale.
I like that. It is true.
You've got to be friendly.
It's all about relationships wherever you are, even if you're not in sales and you're listening to this. Because guess what? If you're a manager, you're in sales because
That's true.
You got to
Most-
influence
yes.
people to
Yeah.
be your way.
Right.
Well, you can say the same thing.
Yeah. You can't do it all yourself, right?
No.
You're
No.
leading people. In some cases, you've got hundreds or even thousands of people in your organization, and it has to be through influence. And that's
Right.
what you're doing here is influencing.
And it's interesting because when we were working, Pete and I were just talking about before this show, we were talking about one of our executive clients that we coach and how important it is that they're liked. And right now they're liked, but they're not really all in for this person.
Uh-huh.
He's got to be liked. And the way to really be liked is to be a servant leader. For him to take ownership of the relationship and see how he can help them best.
Okay, so this next one, value humor. You can make them laugh, you can make them buy. Study humor.
Now, I had somebody ask me the other day, well, I'm not funny.
I'm not funny.
I had somebody say that because I was talking about laughing and how important it is just to be able to laugh, especially when you're feeling down or you're feeling stressed. Just take a moment. Don't take yourself so seriously and laugh.
Okay.
I should take that, my own advice, and do that. So one of the things that we talk about is why don't you just get on YouTube and take a moment to look at some funny videos?
Yeah, maybe once a day in the morning or something.
Yes.
Who knows?
We have a lot of tools that we can do that would just make you laugh.
Yeah.
And don't take yourself so seriously.
Well, and we want you to be, we talk a lot about our disciplines to stay positive. If you're positive, you're going to be more uplifting to the folks around you all day long. And if you're in sales and you're positive, you are going to have better relationships with folks because you may help them if they're having challenges that day, whether it's home or at business. They're going to feel a little better because they've talked to you, even if they're not buying something from you.
Right. It was interesting, Pete. We were with a company and we were talking about this gal, and she's so good at everything she does. I mean, she's really good. We're all like, oh my gosh, we need to she's so good. And one of the things that the team said about her, and I want you guys to listen to this, is they didn't talk about her tactical, strategic skills.
Right.
They talked about her attitude, her energy, and her approach.
Yeah.
And how wonderful it was to be around her because it was contagious.
In a good way.
In a great way. And that is more valuable in sales or as being a team member than most anything.
Okay.
To learn more about today's topic, call 614-306-7922. Now, back to more business talk.
It isn't.
Well, good afternoon. It's good to be back with you.
Yeah, it is. So we're talking about the Sales Bible. Jeffrey Gittimer wrote the Sales Bible, and this is the second session. We're going through some of these principles. And his books are so filled with information. You really just could read 10 pages and stop there and apply it for a month or two.
Well,
I think.
And right before the break, what Pete and I did is we're talking about learning and how you have to learn in order to earn more. And really, even just listening to these shows or having your people listen to the shows, that's critical to. It's interesting when we go into an organization and they go, oh, no, we don't need anything. We're good. And we're like, you are in a moment of non-growth. And
Well, and what are you doing to train yourself?
right.
And we go to seminars, conferences 2-3 times a year, and sometimes out of the country. Well, every year we go out of the country at least once and learn and listen to some great people. And one of them told us last year that you need to spend 10% of your income or 10% of your time on developing yourself.
Right.
All
Right.
the time.
And
even if you did 5%, you'd be 100 times better than most people.
Right. And it was interesting because we were with, we had all different industries. We had a heating and cooling company out of town that we were with. We had a dental lab we were
With these team
Yes,
events?
we were with a retailer we were with, and
Law firm?
Yes, an architectural firm. And in every case, it was interesting. And I said, how many people do you think are being coached or are training at this level within your industry? And they're like, nobody is. Not
Nobody.
even in our city.
Yeah,
And we're like, so
nobody.
then wouldn't that put you like way ahead because you're putting the energy, focus, and attention
Right.
on being better?
Right.
That in and of itself, I mean, you are going to grow because, again, you're learning more.
Right.
The team is learning. So it's earning follows that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's
So
get back
next
to our
one, number 7,
12.5.
the value your creativity. Your key to being perceived as different lies in your creativity. And his second point, you got to listen to this one. Creativity can be learned.
Okay.
Yeah. Gittimer thinks you can learn to be creative.
Well, sure.
And it's really about problem solving. We want to figure out how to help solve customers, clients' problems.
Well, it's
Right?
it's just like this, Pete. You know how some people say, "Can you?" When we talked about this, I think in our last segment, is can you? Are there natural leaders, or can you learn to be a leader? You can learn.
Oh, sure.
You can learn. And I believe you can learn anything. Are
But
you going to be as good?
As a salesperson, you've got to figure out, well, what are the things that are challenging my client, my customer, and is the thing that I'm helping them with something that is appropriate to apply to this problem?
And well, one way to be creative to that point is research. See what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, if you research and you find a creative solution, then boom, you're creating creativity and help for your person.
Good.
I like that. Okay.
And be a problem solver.
And again,
ask great questions.
And this is Jeffrey Gittimer's, it's called the Sales Bible.
Sales Bible.
He wrote it. I mean, it's been a few, this is not brand new.
I think he updated it.
Did he update it?
Yeah, I think it was originally done in 2008, but this is an updated edition. 'Cause
Okay.
He's got a note in the preface here about updating it.
Yeah, 'cause-
2003, it said it was originally done in 2003.
Yeah. I mean, this is absolutely,
It's
and,
good
and
stuff.
we're going through 12.5 points.
Values. These are values that a sales professional would have.
And that's when he said, you're not a sales
You're not a
professional, unless you're learning.
Learning and applying. Okay, so next one, and this is, we've heard this one before, the value of asking for a sale. You got to recognize that. You have to ask. It's so simple, and very few people do it.
And somewhere, Pete, I saw a statistic, and I thought it was 69% of salespeople don't ask for the sale.
Yeah.
So your job is to get sales, but you're not asking. And let me tell you, why do you think that is?
Fear.
Yes.
I mean, that's one reason, right?
Because you
It's
don't want to be told no.
False expectations appearing real.
Yeah.
That's an Action Coach acronym.
Yes.
Okay, so we assume that if we ask for the sale, we're going to come across as pushy or trying to get this person to do something they don't want to do, when in fact it may actually relieve them if we say, okay, here's what we presented. Would you like to get started?
I like that.
And give them the opportunity.
Well, and the other reason is a belief or a value, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they might value friendship. So they believe that if they ask for the sale, they may appear to be pushy, and that's not really being a friend.
And I'll just keep coming back here and bringing you donuts every month or so.
Right, right. And if you have a person, or if you're that person that does that and you know it, one thing you have to do is we always say, ask for the sale at the beginning. So you'll say, hey, Pete, I'm going to give you this proposal, and at the end of it, why don't we decide whether you want to move forward or not? Would that be okay?
When you first sit down.
Yes.
Yes, actually, we do that and just give them the agenda of your meeting. And at the end of it, that could be the last bullet point, is, and at the end, if it makes sense for us to do business together, we'll show you how you can do it.
Today.
Does that sound okay?
You ask them, we are going to ask you today
Make a decision.
to make a decision. Is that okay? Sure. And we've done that. And then at the end, you say, okay, are you ready to make a decision? And then they'll say, oh, wait a minute. I didn't know there was so much involved, or whatever. Then what's our follow-up? Okay, what did I miss as a salesperson? That's your chance to ask questions. Okay, so is there somebody else involved? Is there something? Is there an unanswered objection? It allows a conversation to happen instead of just not asking for the sale.
So those of you that are in this this realm here doing sales calls, make sure you keep a list for yourself of, at the end of a meeting, did I ask for it? Yes or no?
I like that.
Keep track.
Yeah. Right. And you can do it at the beginning.
Well, yeah, you can prepare them that this is going to happen at the end of our meeting. I'm going to ask today.
And then at the end of the meeting, you go, okay.
Did you do it or didn't you?
Yeah.
And just keep track.
I like that.
Right.
Okay, good one.
Okay, so the next one,
okay,
number 9.
Now wait. Now it was 12.5. Oh, okay.
Business talk.
And we're doing
values of a sales professional.
And we're at
number 10 now. We're going to number 10.
Out of 12.
Oh, excuse me. We are not number 9.
9.
The value of your belief in yourself. To make a sale, you've got to believe you work for the greatest company in the world, and represent the greatest products and services in the world, and you got to believe you're the greatest service or salesperson in the world. You've got to believe in yourself, your company, and your product or service.
So
All
what
three.
What if I don't?
You probably should work somewhere else.
But what else could I do instead of leaving my job?
Well, you could learn more about what your product and service actually does for your client. For
How
your
would
customers.
I learn that, do you think?
Well, if it's something that's manufactured, you'd go out in the factory and find out how it's made. Or go to a customer's place and watch it being used.
There you go.
Right?
I like that one.
Yeah.
Talk to some of the raving fans that love your product.
Yeah, sure.
And have them sell you on it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a thought is videotape it and then have your sales team watch it. Because if they get programmed to understand the impact that your product or services has on others, they're going to be passionate to make sure that they spread that joy.
Right.
Because salespeople want to help people.
Sure.
True
Yeah,
professionals
that's one of the
want
reasons you're in it.
That's why you're in it.
Right.
You want to help people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can see how you help people, what a wonderful exercise to be able to do.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're on to number 10?
Number 10.
Okay.
The value of being prepared. Now, this goes for all employees. Most sales people are half prepared. They know everything about themselves. They know nothing about their prospect, their new client.
Well, last week when we did the Sales Bible, one of the things he was talking about is researching. Remember, he said something about knowing their industry, knowing, like, never ask a question.
Yeah, and I've got that section here is talking about their motive, their story, how did they get where they are today, their past experiences, what their expertise is in this area of their business, and what is their need, why do they want it.
Like, have all of that, know that.
Yeah, work on these
beforehand.
things as much as you can.
Beforehand. And you know what? It's pretty easy now with the internet between their website.
You can do a lot of research now.
Right,
Yeah.
or their Facebook page.
Yep.
Or you can see their values. Like, we work with a design build company in Michigan. And on Facebook this week, he was talking about the people when they wore pink. Like, all the employees were wearing a pink shirt.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Because when they would donate. For everybody who did pink, they would donate money.
Okay.
To, obviously, for breast cancer.
Breast cancer, yeah.
So, and it was for, obviously, breast cancer awareness. But we know that's a value. If you were going in to sell him, you know that that's important. So doing your research is and you know what? Most people don't do it. So if you want to be different, do your research.
And get prepared.
Yeah.
Be prepared for your meeting.
Right, exactly.
Know what you're talking about when you go in.
I love it.
Okay. Number 11, the value of not whining and not blaming. Now, we usually would flip it around to be positive, but this is, no whining, no complaining, no being below the line of choice.
Yeah, we call it, you get a choice to make in life. Are you going to be below it or above it? Below the moment, meaning, am I going to have reasons where I'm blaming, complaining,
right,
and defending, or am I going to go ahead and be accountable, responsible,
take ownership, everything, including your sales career? And if you do whine or complain or blame, no one's going to like you or respect you.
And they won't. They might not tell you, by the way.
Right.
But they're thinking it.
Right.
It will show up in your sales. It'll show up all around you.
Yep. And number 12, the value of an apple a day. An hour of learning a day will make you a world-class expert at anything in 5 years.
Oh, that's that 10,000
hours.
Hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I've been thinking that's less than 10,000, but that makes sense.
Yeah, but an hour a day.
But it's a commitment.
Yeah.
Well, you know what we do? We do an hour a day. We do podcasts. Like I was listening to a podcast on my way here. When you listen to this radio show, there's your hour a day.
There you go.
Check it off. turn into Pagan Pete. That's my app. Well, that's not every day, but at least one.
You could listen to it every day.
Could your business use some help? Call 614-306-7922 to schedule your coaching session. 614-306-7922. Now, here's more business talk.
So Peg mentioned that we did a lot of team alignments, group team meetings in the last couple of weeks. I think 4 different companies. And
Actually, it was every bit of 4.
In 1 or 2 of those meetings, I know it was 1 for sure, we went through an exercise where we talked about leadership. It was actually 2 companies, and had them put all the attributes of great leaders up on the whiteboard.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we wrote them all down, and they went through all these different things. And then we asked them, with all those words up there, like 20 or 30 words up there, each one of those, is it a skill, a knowledge, or an attitude? And what happens when we do this exercise, we've done it over and over again for years, is 70 to 80% of the attributes of great leaders, great managers, very successful people end up being attitude.
It is so true. And we love, and if your team has not gotten together where you've done something like this, we want you to call us because you need to get this done. We encourage you to do this once as a minimum, twice ideally.
At least once a year, right?
A year, yes, exactly. With your leadership team or your entire team. And it can be anywhere from 3 hours to we did one for 6 hours, we did one for 3 hours, we did one for 2 hours. But give us a call and have us do that. Like you should be doing this with your team. For sure.
Right.
Which
it's
is
a productivity improver.
Mm-hmm. It is. We call it slowing down to speed up. Mm-hmm. It's sharpening the saw.
So Jeffrey Gitomer, his sales Bible that we're going through here, he had 12 and a half values of a sales professional. The last one is maybe the most important one, and it says the value of a yes attitude. Attitude is everything to you and your success. You become what you think about continuously, and your attitude is at the core of every action you take. So if I'm thinking positive thoughts, positive things are going to happen, and it affects everything.
And it is so true. And on Tuesday, Pete, you don't know this, but we do have an interview with Robin on Tuesday at NBC4 at 11:30. You'll see us there. And I was thinking of us talking about that very same thing, the power of positive thoughts and law of attraction and the strategies we use to get there. So you can listen to that, or you can go to our website and watch it or listen to it, takeactionbusinesscoaching.com.
Very good.
So we just went through Jeffrey Gitomer's, 12
and a half points of a great sales professional.
And what makes you a professional, where you can say, I am a professional salesperson.
Right.
Which is what you want to do.
Yeah. You want to continue to get better
all the time. It was interesting how much of that was learning and
a lot of it. Yeah. He goes back to that a lot. And your mindset.
Well, we talk about how salespeople, and if you're a salesperson, and that's if you're a business owner or a manager, you're a salesperson as well. And what we say is, that is you are the machine. So if you make bread, oven is important, right? So the oven, you would get maintenance on it. You would buy it. You would make sure it looks good. You would, if it breaks down, we are that machine. So we have to make sure we're doing maintenance on us.
We're the bread machine.
We're the bread machine. That's what I'm saying.
Wow. Alan.
We're the bread machine.
Order some sandwiches, grilled cheese, I'm thinking. Yeah.
We're the as so to speak, we're the material that produces. Yeah. And so we need to make sure we have a maintenance program for us, which is constant learning and growing and working on our attitude.
Sharpen the saw, right?
And our mindset. Exactly.
Yeah. So instead of sawing the log very slowly because it's dull, we're going to get it nice and sharp.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. And it takes less effort.
I know that Jeffrey has some other points, Pete, in this book.
Oh, he does, man.
Does it? I mean, it's a good book. What would be some of the things that you think, in addition to this?
Well, I think one thing is being sincere. Just be yourself, right? No matter where you are or who you're with. Just if you don't know something, tell them. Well, teach me a little bit. Ask them to teach you. Right?
It's okay to not know, by the way,
right.
guys.
And that's why we always ask to take a tour of people's facilities. If it's a manufacturing or distribution company, let's go out in your warehouse. Let's take a look at how you do what you do.
It's okay.
For understanding.
Right. It's okay. And, genuine is part of that, being genuine. Yeah. And that's important in a leader as well. I like that. Okay, good one.
Yeah. And it's about long-term relationships. This is an important one, and our clients stay with us for years. one of the things that we value is long-term relationships. It's not about today or even this month or this quarter. It's about years, right?
Right.
And if we're helping someone to build their business, we want to help them to do it for a long time in the future.
Yeah, and I like what you just said is we want it year after year, because as a salesperson, and just like us, we're all in, because when you are selling that product to that person, you're taking ownership of, I got to make sure this works for you.
Right.
And that's where long-term relationships are key.
And if you have something that goes wrong with this product, we're going to be here to fix it.
I love it.
Right.
Very good. Okay, I like that.
This is a good one. Setting goals. We got to have goals, right? And you got to have a plan.
Right.
Have a goal. You have to set goals, and you have to have a plan.
But
you have to have both.
But Pete, think about this. Think about the goals. Tell me, as a salesperson, as a coach, when you're working, what are some of the goals that you have your sales people?
Well, early on, it's about activity, right?
Okay.
It's
tell
not
me about
about closing a deal. It's about if it's a relationship-based service or product that you're providing, is you've got to start building relationships within that industry of folks that need your product or service. So it may be about meeting 50 people over the next few weeks and making sure that they know who you are and who you work for and what kind of products and services you represent.
So you're saying, as a salesperson, it's about measuring the marketing strategies they're using in order to get leads. You have to measure that.
And the activities within those strategies. So a strategy, let's say I'm an attorney and I would like more of a certain type of business. Well, I might need to go to the Bar Association events or to a networking event of attorneys and learn where is some of this activity happening. Or where are some of the companies located.
Or creating partnerships with people. Yeah. And then measuring that activity and having goals behind it.
Right.
So if you just joined us, this is Peg and Pete. We're with Business Talk. We're talking about the Sales Bible with Jeffrey Gitomer. Mm-hmm. And I like that. Okay, so one is goals, and it's more than just setting, hey, I need this sales goal. And we see when we walk into organizations, Pete, the majority, I want to say 90% at least, do not measure the activity. They measure the revenue or the sales result, sure, but they don't measure how they got there.
Yeah, and we like to think of it as just going backwards through the process. Number one, you should write down your process. What is the process to closing a sale and going all the way back through it? And then figure out what activity was at the very beginning of that process. And then am I doing enough of that to get the end result that I want? And if not, I need to increase this activity at the beginning of the process by a third or 50% or whatever it happens to be in order to get the results I need. The other part is when you get this process identified is we want to take a look at the conversion from step to step and measure that, because sometimes we've got a spot in the process where we're losing folks where we shouldn't.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe I didn't call back for a follow-up after I sent an email or something.
If
I sent them a note in the mail, maybe I could increase the conversion from that step to the next step.
Perfect. Okay, I like that. Okay, that's a good tip.
All right. So be on time and look professional. These sound like simple things, but these are part of what we believe is correct. If you say the meeting's at 10 o'clock, make sure you're there.
Well, and
you need to be there 5 minutes early, or 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
Because you never know what kind of traffic problems you might have. And some of you are in more traffic than others, I'm sure.
Well, it was interesting when we were on that Be On Time. We were with this team last week, and we talked. It was interesting seeing the faces. We said, how many people played sports? And you raise your hand. So as you're listening, raise your hand if you played sports as a kid, whether it was middle school, high school,
sure,
college, whatever. So if your practice started at 10 or your game started at 10, did you show up at 10?
No.
Yeah. You
have to get ready.
You have to get ready.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's how it is at work. And so you have to have that mindset that work doesn't start at 8 when you walk in the door. That'd be like walking on the field at 8.
Right.
Coming in. So we told everyone, it was interesting seeing the faces of some of the young people. Hey guys, if your start time's 8, it means you're here at 7:45, 7:50. Because you want to get set.
They're like, oh, what?
They were like, what?
I have to get up 10 minutes earlier?
Yeah. But that's a professional. That's what we do. We show up so that we're ready. I mean, and again, there's that point where you don't want to be too early, right? 5 minutes to 10 minutes is plenty for a client. Right. But it's interesting.
Just make sure it's respectful.
Right.
To be on time is to be respectful.
I like that. It is to be respectful.
And to look good is to be respectful of yourself.
Right.
Really.
Right. Because you're selling
you
yourself.
Take pride, right? Take pride in yourself and how you look, and you're representing your company, right? So you want to look great.
Okay, I like it.
Okay, humor. We
Humor
got to laugh.
We got this
we
humor
gotta have
again.
that.
We got this humor. I think don't take yourself so seriously. Okay, I like that one.
Another one is follow up, follow up, follow up, all the time. Just keep doing it. It's up to you to follow up.
Well, it was interesting, Pete. I remember when Pete and I, we used to do it, and it was really good. We need to start doing it again. Is we used to make phone calls to clients,
sure.
to potential clients,
Right?
And you would talk to a prospect, and somebody would say, "What? Oh, call me back in
6 months." And I'd be like, "Okay, no problem." I put it in Outlook, and 6 months later, sure as heck, I called him back. And you're like, "Wow,
yeah,
nobody usually calls me back."
You got that again and again and again.
Right.
The respect you earned by the follow-up of doing what you said you would do in the follow-up.
Well, I told you I'd call you back.
Yeah. And I told you I'd call you in 6 months.
Yeah. And yeah, it does make a difference. And a lot of times you're helping that person to move forward.
Because they
it's
forget.
not about you badgering them. It's just saying when would be a great time to get back with you? Ask the question and get an answer.
And
You're
most
coaching
people
them,
aren't doing
right?
that. For you, almost everybody was so, and these were president of companies, they were so impressed that you remembered. But that's respectful. And most people aren't doing that.
Right.
So that's a differentiating
So have a
point.
system. That's the other thing is you got to have a system.
Right, yeah.
You got to have a systematic way to make sure you do what you say you're going to do, right?
Yes, and this is all from the Sales Bible with Jeffrey Gitomer. It's tips and strategies and ideas on how to be a better salesperson. But I like it as a better manager, a better
good
leader.
stuff.
It's all good.
Okay.
Do we have time for a couple
Understand
more?
that hard work makes luck. Nobody's just lucky,
No.
right? Except for that guy that won the lottery we talked about.
Well, we laugh about it.
But he played.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we always say, yeah, we're an overnight success. Everybody thinks that it's you're an overnight success. Well, it took us 14 years.
Yeah.
Like you see some of these really successful people in companies, it's because they made a boatload of mistakes.
Right.
And they
And
worked,
they worked
their
very
butt
hard.
off.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
nobody that is overnight success, guys.
Yeah.
It's hard work, it's learning and applying.
Years of hard work. Yeah. That's what happens.
And that's what happens. And we see it every day. It's
So
not,
if you're looking for a book to read, this Sales Bible is really good. He calls it the ultimate sales resource. And Jeffrey Gitomer has written quite a few other books, Book of Trust and a few others. And we really like them. And they're very simple. And you can open up the book to almost anywhere and read a few pages and go off and work on those things. You don't have to read it from cover to cover, is what I'm saying.
This has been Business Talk, your business, your success. Sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed were those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given was not intended to replace that of your business advisor. For more information about the topics discussed today, call 614-306-7922. 614-306-7922. Tune in next week at this time for more Business Talk, your business, your success.